Kalimera says. So I'm going to build on what my fellow panelists have said. I agree with all of that, and I'm going to build on that. And I'll try to present to you a holistic view of crew welfare. Why is it needed? What is it? And what ship owners and managers can expect to get in return for their investment in crew welfare. And I think, and I believe that for most ship managers and operators, if you have your crewing sorted out, the rest is easy. I mean, after commercial, if you have your crewing sorted out, your life is easy. And crewing doesn't mean just putting people on board. It also means getting the most out of the people that you're putting on board. So that means you have engaged crew who are there on board and who are delivering their best for you, for the ship owner, for the charterer. So to get into a more practical aspect. So have a look at this photo, and I'd like to see some hands on who would like to go on this ship. This is the shower of an officers for officers on a chemical tanker. You'd like to go. It's clean. Okay, fair enough, you're an exception, but not really. Let me tell you the story behind it, okay? There was a chief officer who was signing off on medical grounds. So another guy came to relieve him. He saw this washroom. He went to his cabin. It was very similar, and he said, I'm not joining this ship. And he signed off. Okay, so the guy on board, he cannot continue because he's signing off on medical grounds. So the company managed to get someone else. The ship had to wait for him to come, but this someone else did not meet the crew matrix. Okay, so the ship incurred off-hire, port costs, and then when they sailed out, there was an oil major rejection. So for a voyage, the ship could not carry oil major cargo. So you can straight away see that there is commercial impact for such cases. Now you can take a step further and you can see what would happen if the seafarer shared a picture of this on social media, naming the ship, naming the owner. It's not good for their reputation. And then you can see samples already, and you can also see the ships can get detained for MLC issues, which Dimitrios also pointed out that you have the Siemens agreement and MLC issues as one of the major issues in port state control. So what is welfare? To define it, and like Nick said, he likes to define things, me too. It's statutory procedure or social effort designed to promote the basic physical and material well-being of people. Now, we are not going to talk statutory because we know about MLC, TMSA, dry BMS. So what we are going to talk about is social effort. Okay, and just so you know, that picture is of me. And you can see there, it's there's a date there, 1994, on the side of the ship, chipping, and you can see there's no helmet, there's no gloves. I had to buy my own overalls, I had to buy my own safety shoes. There was no washing machine, working washing machine on board. So we take many things for granted, and sometimes, let's say, sitting in the office, we tend to forget what it's like out there on the ship. So things have improved a lot since then, but like Captain Karavasili said, there's more to go. Let's just look at the accommodation, okay? So there is this model for accommodation, so you can have physical comfort and you can have functional comfort. Like Barbara said, the shower works, so it's okay. All right, so you do meet the bottom two parts of the triangle, but if you just look at the top, psychological comfort. Okay, so that is when the officer or the crew member, after working in the engine room, which is like 45 degrees centigrade, or on the deck, comes to his cabin and he feels that he can recharge himself for the next day. So it makes a big difference on how comfortable the accommodation is and how the seafarer can get recharged and go back to work. And you will get the benefit of it because he is fresh and he can do his best, whether it is overhauling an engine or cleaning the cargo holds. So building on the triangle, I think most of you know about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you have the basic needs, physiological needs, safety needs, engagement, belonging. So coming back to this bathroom, finally a chief officer joined. Okay, he didn't like what he saw, but he had a mortgage, right? And he said, okay, I don't have time to refuse. I need to finish my contract. So he stayed on board and he did his job. So that's how what happens with many seafarers. They go on board, but because they have financial commitments, they have family needs, they need to make a career, they need to earn money. So they go on board, they say, okay, never mind, AC is not working, let me just work on board. But then there, you can see the difference in the work output, which I will come to next. So when the seafarers are not engaged, and this I will take back to this slide. If they're not engaged, if they don't feel respected, if they think the ship owner doesn't care about me, they tend to be less engaged. So when you have less engagement, you have a lower productivity, lower retention, more accidents. If you can see here, if a person is not engaged, they will tend to bypass safety. They will just be physically present but not mentally present. So there's a word for it, presentism. So they will be present, but you will not get the best from them. So just to recap, so you have basic needs, physiological and psychological needs, tools and training, leadership skills. I just want to pause here for a moment. So you may have many welfare initiatives. You may be providing medical care, mental health solutions. It may be a very good company, but just imagine if your boss is not good, your life is miserable. So all the welfare initiatives that you do are of no use if you don't have good leaders on board. If you don't have good relationships on board, it's of no use. So what I'd like to say is, look at welfare from a more holistic perspective. If you have good leaders on board, if you invest in leadership training, you will get more bang for the buck when it comes to your crew welfare initiatives. So similarly with communication, these are simple things. When people feel heard, they are better engaged. You have more leverage with your crew welfare initiatives. I try to put all the welfare initiatives in a template. I just put them together, but also in a certain order. So the ones at the bottom are the basic minimum. Okay. So as you grow up, it's increasing in value, what we call the Herzberg factors of motivation. So if you don't do the ones at the bottom, people get demotivated. And the more you do the stuff which is on top, they get more and more motivated and engaged. So you will see many things there. I know there was a point about the internet. So I just want to touch upon it. And for this, I would also like to highlight SAFETY4SEA's petition on internet, which you can find online. And if you sign up, I think there's 100,000 signatures. So it gets across to the industry, and seafarers get internet as a basic welfare need. Why is that? I'll come to this again. And before I go to the next slide, you see on top free lunch. We are not talking about welfare as a free lunch. No. We are talking about welfare as a strategy to take care of the people so they will take care of the ship. People need to be accountable for their positions. They need to deliver, but it's not about free lunch. Coming to the internet, if you see here, the largest number of calls, and like Marino's also highlighted, one of the biggest category of mental health issues is anxiety and calls due to family matters. So if you have internet on board, you take care of that to a large extent. It cannot solve everything. I mean, if there's a child who is sick at home, internet cannot solve it at least, but the seafarer knows that he knows what's happening. All right. I'd like to leave you with some points to think about. Is the holistic welfare program, and I think the slides are there. You can see all the bunch of the welfare initiatives that are there. Think about it as a holistic program. Have dedicated people for crew welfare. So I remember as a seafarer, there used to be a guy in the field office. He used to call my family and check with them. If it's a birthday, he used to call my parents or my wife and check if they're okay. So the seafarer, he knows that, okay, there's someone back there taking care of the family while I'm on the ship. Measure crew engagement. And crew engagement can change over time. So it's good to measure and see how your welfare programs are progressing. Have close communication, and like I said earlier, invest in leadership skills, because the captain who organizes a barbecue, the captain who organizes a party, who makes sure that the crew is getting good food, he will make sure that your welfare programs are getting delivered to the last person on board. So with these thoughts, thank you very much for coming. Thank you.